So thank you so much again, Prof, for accepting to discuss this topic of the impact of medical laboratory science in public health, of which our focus today is on how the profession impacts marriage. I remember we have situations where if people want to get married, they will be recommended to go for some basic laboratory tests before they can finally be confirmed to proceed. I think some organizations do that before they can certify if a man and a lady can eventually go ahead and get married. And some of the basic tests include genotype. This is the most common one, and some other infectious disease screening. But I know there are other silent tests like blood group. And I think recently I heard a story about somebody that decided to refuse to get married to a lady because of confusion of understanding blood group, the rhesus factor issue. And these are some of the public health opinions that impact marriage decisions. So that is the basis for deciding to talk about the profession as a whole and how it impacts public health, of which marriage is our focus today. Yeah, so based on your experience so far, please, can you just, first of all, give us an overview about the profession, the medical laboratory science profession, what we do, how we contribute to promoting public health? I know there is a paper you published in 2012. I think you talked about reviewing the standard of laboratories in Osun State. So can you just give us a quick overview about the medical laboratory science profession, what we do, and how we contribute to promoting public health?
Thank you so much. Medical laboratory science is a profession that deals with analysis of human and animal body fluid, body waste, body tissues, metabolites. We do all this analysis using validated techniques to generate qualitative and quantitative data, which will be used in establishing diagnosis of ailments. It will be used in predicting prognosis of such diseases. Data also used to monitor treatments, and the laboratory data beyond health implication are also used in identity testing. And the medical lab science thrives on research, because whatever you do in medical lab, you generate results that are used to formulate policy again that may change your practice for better. So that is what medical lab science is about. Even when tissues like blood itself, bone marrow, or any other body tissue is to be transplanted, it is also in a medical lab that compatibility testing is done. You can do electronic cross-matching or serological cross-matching to determine which blood product is suitable for which recipient. And when it comes to organ or tissue transplantation, tests are done to establish compatibility. So we do HLA typing. Basically, the tests done in medical lab are not used strictly for diagnosis alone.
Yeah.
You know, medical practice, broadly speaking, can be divided into preventive and curative medicine. If we pay adequate attention to the preventive component of healthcare delivery, we may have less burden at the other end of curative.
Yes.
But because we are not proactive enough, we have a huge burden of health challenges, which we have to battle with as individuals, community, and face a lot of economic burden on the government and individual families. So when we talk about the marital screening or premarital screening, where medical lab science have role to play, is actually a component of preventive medicine.
Exactly.
Where medical lab science have a central role to play. We have people they call abiku, they call them ogbanje, all sorts of names. Children that will not stay beyond 5 years and die. And another one will come to that family, they will get another child that will look like the other one that died. We also stay 3, 4, 5 years, we die. They call them up because if the same one that came back again, went and came back reincarnating. But when they apply this little compliance of medical lab science or medical science, applying data generated from the lab, people are able to take caution on compatibility in marriage. And I think that is one of the things I want to discuss in this session. Maybe I can stop for now. Thank you.
Yeah. I really enjoyed how you brought in what we do and how it applies to public health, and the idea behind recommending some basic laboratory testings before people decide to proceed to marriage. So now, sir, please, can you highlight some of those basic laboratory tests that are actually needed before people can proceed to get into marriage? And what are the possible issues that could arise in the future? What can go wrong if they are ignored? And are there remedies for some of this?
It's okay. Thank you so much. The concept of all ailments being linked to either genetic composition of individual or environmental factor is actually the basis of doing tests to establish compatibility before marriages in the interest of the yet to be born offspring.
Yeah.
So one of the commonest tests is, as we have mentioned, is what we call hemoglobin phenotype. Because
Yeah.
when we run electrophoresis with that technology, what we are actually determining is hemoglobin phenotype.
Yes.
If we do genetic assessment further using right technology, we can use molecular techniques, then we can be talking of hemoglobin genotype. But this thing I call hemoglobin phenotype is what our people in the community call hemoglobin genotype. Because as at the time it was introduced, it was so fantastic and it was right to call it genotype then. But with the avalanche of information we have at hand now,
Yeah.
it's beyond scientific to call result generated from just electrophoresis at alkaline pH hemoglobin genotype with the limitation of interpretation of research. By and large, yes, it's a test that should be done to determine the hemoglobin type of the would-be couple and forecast possible children that may emanate from that kind of marriage. And with our knowledge, if, for instance, if people will get married and a child that will come from that union may be an SS, I mean, somebody who is a sickle cell anemia patient, hemoglobin SS, that type of marriage is dangerous, not only for the unborn child, but even also for the family. That marriage will put a couple at risk.
Yeah.
The love upon which they are building the marriage will fade away with time because the burden of keeping just a child that is hemoglobin SS, especially in a low resource environment like Nigeria, the burden is better imagined than experienced. I want to say too much because some people are coping with it, and we have no intention of stigmatizing them. But those who are yet to enter into that kind of situation, it's better they do not enter. And I've said that no religion or culture, we say you see a pit and fall into it deliberately. If you are not aware, you fall into a pit by error. Yes, you manage the situation. But you are aware of the pit you fall into it, that will mean something. Yes. And with the knowledge that God Almighty has endowed us with in science and medical science, we can actually do without definition. We don't use juju to determine hemoglobin genotype. We follow scientific procedure that
Yes.
can be replicated anywhere by anybody. Because some people say, no, you want to forecast or predict what will happen. Yes, applying science. There's nothing metaphysical about it.
Yeah.
So if you run a measurement reverses, for instance, of alkaline pH, you can determine with some degree of accuracy up to 95% the genotype, hemoglobin type of couple. And the basic thing is, once you, as a man or a woman, you have S in your own combination, your partner should be AA, clean. That is the summary. If you have S, you are AS, for instance, you marry another S, you say there's 25% probability of having a child at the SS. And this is also being misinterpreted by many people. When we say probability, statisticians will say what you call probability with replacement, meaning that at the first opportunity of giving birth, you have 1 in 4 chance of having a child that will be sickler. If the first child is a sickler, it doesn't mean the next 3 children will not be sickler. No. The second opportunity of giving birth, you still have that 1 in 4 chance of having a sickler as a child, which may predominate throughout your 5-7 attempts. So people need to know that it is wrong to assume that in a family of AS and AS, father and mother, they will have 1 child will be SS and 3 will be non-SS. No, all the 4 may be SS. All the 7, maybe you have 7 children, may be SS. Probability with replacement. And what do I mean by this? Let us take a red ball to represent SS and use other color, maybe blue, green to represent AS and AA. Put one red ball in a basket and 3 other color, making 4. Close your eye, pick one. If you pick red, that is SS for that chance of first pregnancy. You are having second pregnancy, the 4 will still be complete, including that red. Close your eye, pick one. If you pick red again, that is SS, second chance. The third pregnancy may repeat itself. And it is also possible that all attempts, none may be SS, but that is taking the risk. So that is as far as hemoglobin genotype or phenotype or phenotype is concerned. For the welfare of the baby that will come into the marriage, it's good to determine both ABO and RH blood type of the will-be couple. And no decision will be taken not to continue based on that, because there's no any challenge that is not surmountable based on ABO and RH incompatibility.
Okay.
People only talk about RH before. When I say RH, that is what people call results. At the point of discovery, it was considered to be serologically comparable with what is found in rhesus monkey. So if the lady is RH negative and the man is RH positive, it is possible the child inherits dominant gene from the husband. And when such happens, it means that the system of the lady, of the wife now, we see that gene, RHD gene, as foreign. And at the first pregnancy, nothing will happen because the blood that received the antigen and cause antibody production in the baby will only occur at the point of delivery. That is where it is at the second pregnancy that enough antibody will have been produced. And that can be circumvented. How? At the first delivery, or even if it is abortion, they will give antibody, we call it neutralizing antigen, to the lady to mop up any antigen that must have been seeded into her system, so that there won't be production of antibody to cause trouble in the second pregnancy. And I quickly need to add that somebody will say science is incorrect, because it is possible we have a woman there who is already negative confirmed, and he has 4 or 5 children, all of them are D positive, and he never took that injection. Well, when somebody is RH negative, the immunological response to triggers like that may differ. Some people are known as non-responder. Some people are known as slow responder, and some are responder. If a woman is non-responder, even though they are few, even when there's RHD pregnancy, she may not have any antibody produced against next pregnancy that will now cause what is called hydrocephalus or stillbirth. So we cannot have the statistics of this few and make a decision that will cause trouble in a larger proportion of people who are Rh negative.
Okay.
What we have said is that a woman that is Rh negative may have just one pregnancy or one child, and subsequent pregnancy will be having issue, will be having abortion. It may be because of Rh incompatibility. But if they have known about this Rh incompatibility before marriage, they will have prepared enough. They can go ahead with marriage, but at each delivery, the woman will be given an antidote that will not make them experience it on account of Rh incompatibility. That's what I've said. Thank you.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear. The clear difference between the genotype case is that the risk in the genotype case is so strong and significant that the advice is to prevent and avoid
it's
it.
not continue with the marriage.
Yeah. Why?
But let me add quickly, even with genotype incompatibility, hello?
Yes,
if they
sir.
want to continue, they can continue too, provided their religion or culture allows it. When they continue, okay, if hemoglobin AS and AS marries, they know there's 1 in 4 probability of having a child that may be SS. At each pregnancy, they can determine the genotype of the unborn baby in utero while in the pregnancy. If their religion and culture allows it, if the genotype is found to be SS, that means they will terminate that pregnancy. You understand? So they can continue like that. If it is allowed in their religion and culture to be terminating pregnancy, they can determine hemoglobin type of the unborn baby, and if it is not the type they want, they terminate it. You understand? But that is un-African. I don't think Africans will do that.
Yeah.
And many religions will kick against that. Many denominations will not accept that. That you
Yeah.
deliberately terminate pregnancy.
Yeah. Can you please quickly comment on the paternity part of how medical laboratory science comes into marriage again? Because we have talked about how some basic texts that could
Yes.
inform marriage agreements and remedies that can come in the case of blood group. Now, can we proceed a little further? Marriages that have been established and where medical laboratory science comes in again, of which paternity testing is just one of them. So I don't know if you want to comment on that, or
Okay.
if you have an
Thank you so much.
alternative interest,
Yes.
maybe in the angle of
No problem. I will do that now. I
okay,
will
sir.
do just that. Yes. Before marriage, you don't forget the testing for STI too. Well, that's
Yeah,
before relationship, STI, sexually transmitted infection.
yes, yes,
Well,
is
now
very
we
important as
go
well.
into the marriage. That one
Yeah.
we call paternity dispute. Let us call it parental dispute testing. Parental dispute testing.
Okay.
Because by the evolution of time, we can now see that it's not only paternity that are now in dispute. We can even have maternity in dispute. We can have baby swapping and all that.
Yeah,
People will
yeah,
swap baby. and
yeah,
so we talk about parental disputes. Medical lab scientists have a lot of role to play in determining what you call DNA type of an
yeah,
individual and compare it with the genealogy to which he or she belongs. So if there is need to establish uh, identity of a baby in marriage, whether that baby truly belongs to that mother, that or that father, you can do parental dispute testing in the laboratory. If it is done for maybe migration purposes or other demographic reasons, there may not be need to have a court injunction mandating us to do it. But if it is for legal disputes, there we need to have a request from an arbiter, maybe a traditional ruler, maybe establish an agency that is empowered to do arbitration, or court of competent jurisdiction. So in that case, if it is in the case of legal dispute, the request will come from the court. If it is paternity that is in dispute, we will not need the sample of the mother at all. We just need, for instance, buccal swab from the baby or child in dispute and that of the man, putative father. And we do the DNA assessment and see whether they align, minimum of 99.99%. If they align, that means that is the biological father. But if it, in fact, we have done a number of one, you see, is 0.000
wow,
compatibility, reflecting that the man is not the biological father of that child in dispute. And we have seen on field where we have 3, 4 children presented for dispute resolution like that, and we do parental dispute, we do the DNA assessment in the lab, they will rule out or ruling. And I've said maternal dispute exists too, because not every time that it is not even ethical, it is uncharitable for a family to just conclude because a DNA test was done and it was established that the father is not the father of that child in dispute or the child as in question, and now conclude that the woman was an infidel. Yes, or the woman was not faithful in marriage. It is also possible that the baby was actually swapped. They should
yeah,
proceed and check the DNA of that baby with that mother too. When they do that now, they now see that even the baby does not belong to the mother either. They will not trace the history of where the baby was given birth to, check the record of the maternity or the
yeah,
hospital,
yeah,
and they may see maybe one person looking for a male child, as it is customary of African. They want a male child, and because of that, somebody swapped baby. And why a woman is in labor, she may not be that conscious to know whether her baby was swapped or not. So all this can be resolved in the lab. I've
yeah,
seen myself as a person who collected sample for a child who wanted to relocate from Nigeria to join the parents. The child was to join the father in another country.
Yeah.
And the prerequisite was to find out the reason for bringing the child is a biological child. They said they needed to do a test to confirm that it's a biological child. See, when we say test, the result of test will be correct to the degree of technology employed to carry out the test, provided the test is actually handled by professionals. So I collected the swab on request. A letter was sent to me from that country to collect the sample in most ethical manner.
Yeah.
Collected the sample and I sent it. Yes, because I have to take responsibility. You know,
Yeah.
if you are not a core professional, even sample collection itself, that is where our work begins.
Exactly.
Integrity of the sample you have collected,
Yes.
and your integrity to ensure that you are not labeling one sample for another person.
Yes.
Yes. And you know what? The relation of that child is a medical practitioner practicing in Nigeria. Since after then, he started having a certain degree of regard for me and my profession. Because even though he's a medical practitioner, the request is that I, as the head of that lab, should be the one to collect the sample and sign and DHL directly
Yeah.
to the lab that needed it in that country.
Yeah.
Yes. So these are the things we do as a beyond healthcare indices. We generate results that guide our social demographic environment so that we live in peace.
Yes.
And our result also impact on decision in the judiciary.
Yeah.
Myself, as an individual, I found myself in a court before, not once,
Really?
not as a accused or what, but to defend and explain result as a friend of the court.
Yeah.
And I've done a test for a family before like that, and the man said no, he doesn't trust the results that because he just wanted the result that you say he's not the father, and the result say you are the father. So he went outside the country, outside Nigeria, in advanced part of the world. They repeated the test. Lo and behold, it was the same thing. So
Wow.
the truth is what is constant. And I found myself also in the past on this field collecting sample to do that type of test. Even that one was just exclusion test by serology. You can do serology to do exclusion. That was more than 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
And one of the party came back to me and said, yes, please let the result before us. They brought something to induce me to give a result that is favorable to their own party. I turned down you know me, I turned down that offer. And lo and behold, when the result came out, the result actually favored them.
Wow.
If I was not ethical enough,
Yes.
rejected the offer. But yes, the result will favor because we paid for it.
Yeah.
So those type of family, they continue to respect my profession.
Exactly.
I respect my personality to date.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And that is what we do in the profession.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prof. Because you have finally brought in the ethical part of what we do. Because if we breach it, it compromises the whole process. It compromises the whole effort. It compromises the whole intention of starting it all together. And it affects, apart from this aspect of our discussion of paternity resolution, it affects even the normal routine work we do, where compliance to standard and ethical practice informs how the public perception about medical laboratory science and how it helps to promote public health. Thank you so much, sir. There are actually other questions, but I don't want to keep stressing you further. Yeah, I would assuming we had assuming we had time, I would have wanted you to mention a bit about blood transfusion, because sometimes there might be need for transfusion of blood of where family members might be called upon and all that. And I don't think I want to stress you further on that now. Yeah.
You can be very sure that if I want to discuss blood transfusion compatibility, 10-20 minutes cannot be enough for me.
Exactly.
You can shift that discussion to another time.
It's fine, sir.
Because the way I want to lay the foundation and explain vividly, you cannot, I won't be able to explain in another 20 minutes.
I know.
Even though I would have reduced it to what public should be able to benefit from.
I know.
So you can do that one another time.
It's fine, sir. No problem.
Yes.
It's fine.